Today we're covering some of the most important data when it comes to the 7 lakes of Bella Vista. So if you've been looking to move to Bella Vista and looking about the lakes in the area, this is the video for you. So let's talk about that. Hey everybody, if you don't know who I am, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you weren't aware, I actually moved from the dumpster fire horrible state, also known as Illinois, aka Chicago. Terrible place to live, don't ever go there, promise me. I looked all across America, Asheville, Huntsville, Utah, Colorado, up in the colder parts, Colorado, Arizona. I looked all across America to look for the best place to live in America, and Northwest Arkansas fits the bill to a T. Best place to live in America by far. So if you ever want to talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas, call me, text me, let's meet for coffee. Let's talk about why I chose here versus anywhere else in America. Without further ado, let's jump right into the content. All right, and the first lake we need to cover in Bella Vista is actually Lmod, located in Bella Vista. There's actually 7 total lakes in Bella Vista. This is one of the first ones. This is actually the biggest one, and this is actually the newest one. By what I mean newest one is actually all of Bella Vista lakes were created by the Army Corps engineer, which is hilarious because Beaver Lake is the same way. And the hilarious part is that when I moved here from Chicago, the lake I lived on up there was a Army Corps engineer lake as well. So I completely understand how the process, I mean, I wasn't alive in 1960 something when they built the lakes up in Chicago, but I do know how the whole process works and how homeowners association, the whole kit and caboodle, you know what I'm saying? So regardless, they are Army Corps engineer lakes, and so Lmod is the actual newest lake of Bella Vista. It's actually one of the deepest lakes, around 80 feet, and is well loved by the community, both for fishing and also recreation. So the one thing that, well, not one thing, there's a lot of things it has going for it, but the thing that makes it very special is it's a full service lake, meaning it has a marina, it has a lot of different spots for people to hang out, meaning like cook food, fish, cutty thingy-majiggies, and then you obviously the whole thing. So great for fishing, great for recreation, boats, the whole kit and caboodle. So it is really a true recreation, like general recreation lake for Bella Vista. You're obviously going to spend a lot of time over there. You can drop your boat in, the whole thing. Yeah, you obviously have to be a property owner. Just to clarify, you have to be a property owner in Bella Vista to actually drop your boat in there. So keep that in mind. But Lmod is a wonderful lake, well used, well loved, great for fishing, great for boating, great for having family there and doing events outside. So they have a lot of different parks around the whole area there as well. And the second lake we need to talk about in Bella Vista is actually Lake Ann. So a couple of things about Lake Ann. First off, it is a wake lake technically, but a lot of times people use it for basically water skiing because it has a long run for water skiing, so keep that in mind. But a lot of Lake Ann is just known as being like the pretty lake. It has a lot of topography when it comes to the Ozarks, it has a lot of that limestone kind of feel. So you're gonna kind of get in Lake Ann and be like, oh, I see, very pretty, very pretty. So keep that in mind with Lake Ann, is that it's a very pretty lake, pretty. It's a very pretty lake, and also that it's also recreation. But both and here that people use it for fishing a lot of times. Seems like it's obviously a very big trend for fishing in the area, hence why there are so many lakes that are stocked with fish in the area itself, mostly in Bella Vista. But regardless, regressing a little bit, going backwards, Lake Ann, beautiful lake, a lot of recreation when it comes to skiing, also mainly recreation when it comes to fishing. So keep that in mind about Lake Ann. It is a smaller lake. It's the second lake that was ever built in Bella Vista around 1970. And the third lake we need to cover in Bella Vista is actually Lake Avalon. This is also dubbed as the original lake. So this is like I said, the original lake of Bella Vista, 1968, I believe. So original lake. The thing about Lake Avalon is that it's actually the largest no-wake lake in Bella Vista. Say that 5 times fast. No wake lake in Bella Vista. No wake lake in Bella Vista. No wake lake. Okay, stop. Anyways, I can do it. Anyways, with Lake Avalon, the thing I love about Lake Avalon is not only is it I think the only place you can really have there's a beach there. You could find other parks in the other beaches, or excuse me, in the other lakes and actually swim off them if you so chose to. But there truly is a beach on Lake Avalon. So original beach, original lake. So beaching over in Lake Avalon. Second thing, no wake lake, great. It is a very deep and thick, if that's the word for it, population of fish. Lake Windsor takes the crown for fish population in Bella Vista. So if you are a fisherman, Lake Avalon is the place to be. The thing about also Lake Avalon is very recreation in a sense of families. You have the beach, you have a couple parks, horseshoes, cook up some food, etc. So keep that in mind. It's a very no-wake lake, recreation lake. A lot of words that are long here, recreation lake. Anyways, Lake Avalon, very top tier lake. Is probably the most favorited lake in Bella Vista just because of the fishing, the no wake, also the beaches and the parks. It is really top tier. And before we jump on to the next point, I made something for you. Yes, for you. I made something called 3-day itineraries. It sounds exactly what it is. Literally itineraries, city by city, day by day, place by place. What are you going to do in Northwest Arkansas when you first get here? Whether you're visiting, whether you're looking to buy here, whatever the case is, this is the perfect itinerary for anyone who's an adventurer, a sports person, a foodie, a sightseer, even if you have kids. Whatever it is, I have 3-day itineraries made for you, all linked below. So go ahead and download them, all linked below, all down below. Go ahead, click the button, go ahead, download them, use them, and then when you get down here, use them and enjoy the whole area because it's fantastic, obviously. I also made something called Instant Home Updates. So maybe you're looking to move to the area and using things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications, way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. Sounds exactly what it is, literally Instant Home Updates. So enter all information below, name, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Where do you want to move to Northwest Arkansas? Enter all the information below and I'll make sure I miss a single notification when it comes for homes for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, every single Friday, I send an email out just kind of talking about all the cool things happening in Northwest Arkansas. What's going on at the Walmart Amphitheater? What new businesses are moving here? What's going on in downtown Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? What's going on in downtown Rogers? What new business construction, new big thing happened in Northwest Arkansas? Enter your email below. I'll keep you updated with all the cool things happening here. But just to be aware, just to give you a heads up, you will get a little fear of missing out, a little FOMO, so to speak. But I do promise you will be the most informed person eventually when you make your way down to Northwest Arkansas. And the next lake we need to cover is actually Lake Britney, of course, in Bella Vista. Now, the interesting thing with Lake Britney is that it was built in 1979. That's not the interesting part. It's one of the smallest lakes in Bella Vista, and the fact it's a no-wake lake. I've actually sold quite a few homes in some of the smaller no-wake lakes, and honestly, a lot of times people prefer the no-wake lakes because they can go out in their backyard down to the water and fish and have no one around them for the most part. So it is a no-wake lake. You can put your paddle boat on there. You can fish on there, but it's like no wake. So I think trolling motors, obviously, but no wake, obviously. But regardless, the thing that makes Britney even more amazing is technically, according to fishing standards, it should not be a good fishing lake, but evidently Lake Britney is the place that pull out the biggest bass every single year. So I guess science has a way about it to prove itself wrong, obviously. Lake Britney just continues to produce great fish. Now, part of it is also that they did this is back in Lake Britney, back like 2007-ish, they actually started putting, raising trout in there, stocking trout in there. So it's kind of one of the original spots that did that. So keep that in mind, is that they've been stocking this lake for quite some time, including bass as well. So, but evidently, if you want the biggest bass, that's a weird way of saying that. If you want the biggest bass in the world, you go to Lake Britney. And the next lake we need to cover is actually Lake Norwood, one of my most favorited lakes in Bella Vista. Now the reason being is not because it has all the frills of boats flying around and people skiing and fish flying out of the water. It does have great fishing, by the way. The thing that I love about Lake Norwood is that, in my opinion, it's the most peaceful lake out there. Now the reason being is because it's small. It's actually one of the smallest, if not the smallest lake in Bella Vista. So you're thinking like, Philip, you need to talk this thing up. It's about 80 feet deep, so cool. I think it was built in 1973, so right around the middle years of Bella Vista. Anyways, but with Lake Norwood, the thing about it is peaceful. It is a no-wake lake, and people, and that sounds kind of funny, but people hardly ever use it. Now the reason I know this is because I believe on the other side of the land, there's no building houses there yet. And like it's just owned by a bunch of landowners, so there's no like lakefronts or anything. But on one side, it's all lakefronts. And the thing is that all the people that live on Lake Norwood on that side there, it's just like you walk down, it is like in this little gully, of course, as lakes are, and you kind of block out the noise of the world. And so you go down there, there's no wake, you're fishing, peaceful, and there's hardly anyone there. So that's one thing I really love about Lake Norwood, is it's just so incredibly peaceful. So if you are looking to move here, look at Lake Norwood. There's actually very few homes that exist there just because it's not like heavily built out. And keep that in mind, but Lake Norwood, kind of a sleeper over there in a good way. And the next lake we need to cover in Bella Vista is actually Lake Rayburn. This is actually very similar to Lake Norwood, just on the other side of, or just a little bit south of it actually. So Norwood, Rayburn. Anyways, so long story short, Rayburn's very similar to that in a sense of like no wake lake, kind of smaller, actually very small, very similar to that size of Norwood. Right around 75 feet deep, huge fishing population, evidently. So regardless, Very similar to Norwood. I know that it is stocked often with bass, crappie, a lot of the panfish, so keep that in mind. Rayburn, no wake lake, very good fishing. Easy access from 71, so you can just hop skip over there. There's a couple docks over there so you can fish off of. You can put your paddle boat in, go fishing, or trolling motor, whatever the case is. So keep that in mind if you're looking for more simple, quiet fishing. Easy access to 71, Rayburn. You have a couple things going for it there. And the last lake we need to cover in Bella Vista is actually Lake Windsor. This is actually the second biggest lake of Bella Vista and is again a multi-recreational lake, whether it has great fishing, great skiing, great whatever, boating, you name it, it has it all going for it. Again, this is where you're gonna see those parks where you can hang out, cook some food, cook some fish, fish some fish, get some fish, cut some fish up, cook some, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, so Lake Windsor has all those things going for it, very similar to Loch Lomond as well. So keep that in mind, is if it's a little bit busier over at Loch Lomond and you want to drop your boat off, have a day on the lake, keep this one in mind for sure. Again, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. I'm not the most avid fisherman, but I do know that it does pull some amazing fish. Now, I'll let you figure out when the best times for fishing. You might not want to go at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, probably not. Early mornings, late nights. You check the YouTubes what the best fishing times in general are. If you fish, you understand. So regardless, check out Lake Windsor, great lake, fully recreational, fully wake, and you'll have a great time out there. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you haven't been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds like what it is, literally starter pack, a box full of all the cool things happening and all about Northwest Arkansas. It comes with stickers, it comes with booklets, it comes with over 100-page guide of all the cool things and interesting things happening in Northwest Arkansas. It comes with my itineraries. It comes with a brand new coloring book for you, shipped right to you. It all comes right over there. It comes right into a box. So literally a box shipped right to your home, right to your home. So if you want to know all the information happening in Northwest Arkansas, starter pack, information below, name, address, where's this package going to? All the information below, make sure you get the package shipped to you right away. Also, side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking, It is my favorite four-letter F word. Free! So enter your information below, make sure to get the package shipped to you right away. And also, when you do come down here, I can give you the $10 tour, so I can kind of show you around the whole area. Plus, we can check out some home for sale or for rent and see how far your dollar would go in Northwest Arkansas compared to where you're coming from. All right, guys, this is the next one.